In this tutorial in Adobe Premiere Elements 2018, we're going to look at an overview of some special effects in what's called the perspective category. I'd like to show you some of my favorites and a little bit about how to combine them properly. We have on the screen a video of a Jeep on a beach. I like this one. It's got lots of color, lots of action. It's well shot. And let's add to this video a little bit of these perspective special effects. So what I'm going to do is move to the action bar on the right, click on the FX. That gets into my special effects. I could scroll down through all of them, but the easier way for me to do this is to click from Show All, go down to Perspective. And here we have 4, and I'll look at 3 of them in this tutorial. One of the ones that we have that's a nice effect is simply a little drop shadow. If I take and drag and drop it on my clip, I've just applied it. But the problem is you don't see any change on the clip. That's because the clip fills every pixel in the screen area. If I click on the clip and then take one of the corner handles and move it in slightly, now you see the effect of the shadow. Now the clip is not full screen, we see the little gray shadow here. So the default color is gray, the opacity default's 100%, the direction is top and right, the distance is 22, and the softness is 8. So we can change all of these. If we move the slider on direction, for example, you can see we can move it so now it's a shadow on the left and on the bottom. And then now it's a shadow on the bottom on the right. So you can move this around the compass in order to control the direction of the shadow. Distance, likewise, if you move the slider, or you can change the number. The default was 22. We can make it a little bit bigger. And it doesn't take a lot to make it quite large. Then softness, the default is 8. We can increase that. And this is one you don't want to move a lot, because if I move from, all I have to do is barely touch it, and it gets quite blurry. So if I'll change the number numerically, let's go from 8 to 28. And there it's a lot easier controlled to type in with the numbers here. Shadow only is something I would not normally use. It just shows me the shadow. But I might want to see that just for positioning purposes. And you can also change the color of the shadow. You can go for any color in the rainbow that you want to, or any color you want to eyedrop you can use for your shadow. So that's how the shadow special effect happens to work. Now I'm going to leave that on the screen and apply another special effect from the perspective category. So we'll make this smaller. I don't have to, it's just out of the way. Click on FX again, and let's do one that is a bevel edges. I'll take this and drag it and drop it, and now I have beveled edges as well as my shadow. Now the default thickness is 10. We have a light angle, and then we also have a light color and a light intensity. So let me take the edges down a little bit and make this a smaller bevel. Something like this. And notice the light's coming in from the left, and it's a pure white light. We'll change the angle here. And now we have the light coming in mostly from the right. It's a 248-degree angle. And so you can change this as much as you want. You can increase the intensity of that light, or you can decrease it so it's almost not visible at all. But the bevel effect is a nice one, and you may use this from time to time to augment a video. And again, it plays like any other video, only it has these features on perspective around it. The third one I want to look at in this category, which is kind of fun, in the FX, is I'm going to click on Basic 3D. I'll take and drag that down. We'll add that to the effects. Now this effect here on Basic 3D has swivel, tilt, and distance. Let me show you what that means. The swivel starts at 10 degrees, so I'm going to slide it slightly left, and you don't have to move it much. And now we're swiveling it on kind of the horizontal angle. And then the tilt, that again, you don't have to move it very much at all. Okay, so this gives my tilt and this is my swivel. I like this one. The other thing you can do that's kind of cool is distance to image. If I increase the number or decrease, okay, now it's farther away, and now I can actually zoom in if I want to on the screen. But if I wanted to take up only part of the screen, now I have all three of these characteristics on the same image at the same time. We can go ahead and play it. And now we've moved from a picture that is somewhat normal to something that stands out. All because we've included three simple perspectives: a drop shadow, a beveled edge, and a basic 3D. Now the one thing you have to be careful about is the stacking order. Let me go ahead and we'll stop that. And if I take the basic 3D and I move it above either the drop shadow or the beveled edge, I'm going to run into some problems when I try to change one or the other of these. This is what I get. It's a bit of a mess. My cursor doesn't want to work, but the effects have to be stacked in the right order. So the 3D has to be on the bottom of the list. First you do the drop shadow if you're going to use it, or the beveled edge if you're going to use it. But if you put the 3D first in the stacking order, it's not going to look very good. So just something to consider if you run into some of these problems with any of your applied effects. Consider which should come first, second, and third to get the kind of results you're looking for.